Oh, I'm afraid, my lord, that I could not do that. I mean, not tonight, politically. As you can see, I'm rather busy. And there in the morning there'll be more shipments coming in, and I have to have my ensigns deal with it. And then I have to
Oh,
prepare for
dear.
tomorrow, make sure that I have a clear head. As you can see, I'm not
Oh
really
dear.
close.
They have you all wrapped up in the logistics of this thing too, don't they?
Yes, I'm afraid
I can
so.
tell you, I've seen the images of it. It's not pretty work, and I'm glad I'm not doing it.
The less glamorous side of what I do. I prefer to be at sea, of course, hunting down ne'er-do-wells, but it seems you and I are in the same business. You hunt them on the ground, and I on land, and I hunt them at sea.
Ah, yes. Together, none can hide.
Well, and he bows to Lady Victoria. I take your leave, my lord. Perhaps some other day. Perhaps if I am as lucky as your man Harmon, or even more so skilled, I too will have a purse to add to my collection.
Then I can only wish you the best of luck tomorrow, Admiral.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay.
day.
And you as well. And I guess I just have to toss back to Spencer. Spencer, did you at all come over to do anything from a distance? I assume we were probably outside of the main tent at that point, which is the only opportunity I can think to have given you.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a conversation happening inside the tent. Right? He is sticking, and he's very close to his. By now, he's so mount that he's basically his patron. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not officially, of course, but still, he's sticking to it. And also, you notice that after that display, the younger king sort of seems to go back to normal. He's still drinking and all that, still kind of talking a bit too loud, right?
Yeah.
You can do a investigation.
He's a young kid who's drunk. Of course, he's gonna do stupid things.
Do an investigation for me. Mine investigation. If you can detect something here.
Oof. Well, I don't have investigation, I don't think.
Is that even
inquiry, you mean, actually, right?
Huh?
Okay, yeah, I can actually do inquiry. Mind inquiry?
Yeah.
Would you like if I'm there, would you like an assist?
Yeah, absolutely. I always like having Spencer assist.
There you go, you get a D8.
Hey, and that brings us up to 2. Fantastic. Put our heads together.
You between the two of you, right, observing from different angles, you notice that he's not quite. He's still boisterous, right? But you catch moments where he doesn't seem to be quite as drunk as he seemed to be a moment ago, and nobody sobers up that quickly.
Interesting.
Interesting that he would have a calculated display of him being drunk. I only have to wonder what must be on his mind. But such as it is, testing the waters to see how far he can push it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you're talking around again, Lady Victoria, someone whispers at Lady Victoria's ear, and she nods and says, "I must see to my lady, to Her Majesty."
Of course, my lady.
Fine by yourself?
I shall be fine. I've been drunk before. And of course, if ever you get the time away from your lady, you're always welcome back to my tent.
She sort of cocks her head. It's a little bit, her cheeks go a bit red, and she sort of bows again and leaves.
Yeah.
And she a beeline right for her boss, basically, the wife of this king. And they're having a conversation there, right?
Yeah. I imagine between me and Spencer and speculation, she probably has a wind of that too, so that's interesting. She's been on my arm the whole time, so.
Yes, she has been most of the night. And, the drinking continues and all that. Eventually, guards are summoned because the king decides he's going to leave, and that becomes a big thing. The High King is leaving. So once he leaves, everybody starts. Nobody sort of vacates immediately, but, the guards are now out. The king shows in, and everybody sort of starts, moving to their own tents. The next day, basically, It's most of the day is spent on the jousting. Haddock does well enough to. He's sort of middle of the pack, but he does very well enough that he can go to the next day. It's going to be several days, so he qualifies. Spencer, early evening comes and somebody sends a missive to Gregory's tent asking for you.
That's where he'd be.
Yeah.
All right.
And saying that the dialogue will begin within an hour or so. You know that there's going to be after this every night. There's going to be more drinking, more celebration. I mean, this is the whole thing about the Grand Pavilion, right? It's just about drinking, celebrating, and stuff like that. So how are you guys are going to deal with this?
Well, first, if Gregory is there, gotta ask my leave, of course. My Lord Gregory, would you mind if I went about some business of my own this night?
Of course, you deserve to have some fun. I won't keep you at all. I suppose I'll have to keep an eye out myself, but, well, perhaps the danger is past for the time being.
Sorry about that. I interrupted.
That's fine.
If you want to go through during the day to deposit the winnings over at the local church, you were able to do that. No problem.
Excellent. I'm sure the orphans will be very happy to see us. They usually are.
And again, Lester just sort of hangs on your every word and, talks about things and asks questions about, how do you think the money's going to be spent and, how exactly does it help the people, etc. How much work have you done? He also asks you a lot of questions about places outside the Isles because you're a foreigner, right? What do you know about Calabria? What do I think of that? But they're very, scatterbrained. Like, the first thought that pops in his young mind, he just blurts out the question. Are you very informative, or you try to be dismissive? How do you handle all that?
Oh, I always treat anybody who has any inquiries with all sorts of seriousness. I mean, I'm amused by it, but my role is to enlighten and educate. I'm surprised that somebody with such a low level of experience was enjoying the right hand of the bishop. Just how well connected are you?
Instead to Lester, it's like, well.
By the way, what's his name? Because I think it's changed a couple times. Was it Lester before?
Yeah, let's just stick with Lester. Sorry about that. It's just I get into the role play and it's like, oops. I think it was Lexiter. Wait, let's call him Lester. As well,
I was calling him Lemmy for a bit, but
yeah, Lemmy, Lester, whatever. He says, well, my dad, he used to work for the old bishops. Good Vesper.
Well, blood does go far in any sort of endeavor. But yeah, I definitely want to take him in town to the hospital or church as it passes for the one I've been working at a lot, so he can see the people. And this is the second time I've come to drop a wealth gift on these people. And
that's very interesting because you remember what, from your investigations from last week, remember also for the people in chat, that the old bishop was involved in a bit of a scandal.
Oh, really? How so?
Remember, the scandal involved the former baron of these lands and being accused of being in an incestuous relationship with her brother, who was the former bishop.
Oh my God! Wow, my stars.
And he's basically, at first time, it's like he says this, he's like, oh, well, he's well connected, but
I'm assuming Lester doesn't want to talk about that.
He's very young. He doesn't. But if you don't mention anything,
well, yeah, but if I don't mention it, I'm assuming he doesn't mention it.
No, he just said, and when he mentioned his dad, his father, he just said like, well, yeah, he answered the question, no problem, and no hesitation, no whatsoever. So, with something to take notice, just in case.
It's definitely something I take note of.
back to Spencer. Yes, you get the invite for the dialogue, and
So I guess he would follow the messenger unless they're going to other wizards who give them the invite as well. Otherwise, he'll head to the place in question.
He takes you directly to the tent, and it's a smaller tent. In fact, it's a smaller tent that is kind of the way it's made. It's gray tent. It's almost like a wizard's tower, right? That sort of shape. Actually, it's being painted in the outside to look like it had stones on it.
Musical.
And you there's a basically because of the nature of the tent, it's not a long table but a round table. It's you and about 5 others, including the gentleman you met before, and presentations I met. The gentleman you talked to before, also in Purple Roads, his name is Aldrich, and he basically makes introductions. You see several elementalists. He's a cognoscenti, and that's the whole thing. And they start talking esoteric things. Eventually, the subject of ancient lore comes up, and one of them says, I've been trying to get into those wily minds of the druids. The real secrets of this land lie with them, but I haven't had a good time with them. I thought that maybe if I could come here, I could get something out of them, but approaching them has been very difficult. And Aldrich says, "Oh, good Lord, stop messing with things you're not supposed to understand. This is religious nonsense and nothing to do with us." And the conversation turns into that. Are you going to add anything to it?
I'd like to. Let me get my brain working here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right now, they've been talking about different things, about different schools of magic and the journeys and all that. Having exchange of of knowledge. But at this point, they're talking about the druids.
I did come up with something here.
Yeah, and one of them is and Aldrich says to just dismiss it because it's religious nonsense, has nothing to do with them. And so now
religious. There is a certain truth to these religions in that they are able to effect reality with their workings. And I've been doing a little bit of this research on my own. I find it is helpful to look into the writings of people in order to really understand what is going on within their mind. The types of characters in their fictions can tell you a lot about their aspirations, the heroes that they venerate, you know what I mean? And for these druids, they may not write things down as we more learned folk do, but they do leave behind markings that can be studied.
But I've had a devil of a time to understand those markings. I think they have something to do with the land, with spirals and the like. But I cannot, for the life of me, understand exactly what they mean. They don't follow any of the traditions that we expected. Do you have any insight, my good Spencer? And now everybody sort of turned to you and sort of listening intently what you have to say.
Nothing rock solid. I have a book that chronicles their ley line markers. I've followed one of their ley lines to a river, the South River. He gives the proper name of it. Mm-hmm. And how do you know the road there, how it ends abruptly as if the water had washed it away?
And he turns to one of the mages and says, "Barclay, you've been in the Northern Isle, in the capital, have you? You know this river?" And he says, "Yes, I seen it, but I thought it was some kind of natural disaster, perhaps. Washed away. Poor maintenance of the bridge, washed away in some flood. They happen, especially all the rain."
I spoke to the shades of the area, and they did not deign to speak to me so much as show me something very interesting. This natural disaster you speak of was not at all natural. The water was flowing north instead of south. And
from the sea. It's flowing from the sea.
I do not know its origin. I can only guess.
Well, the river flows from north to south into the sea, so if it should be coming from the sea. The old adage that all rivers flow to the sea. So that's what he means. This is Barclay now. They're on intently. Visions, you say? Shades, perhaps. And then now they start talking about this. Could it be just an illusion? Could it be the actual shades? How sure that they're the shades that you saw? Why didn't the shades interact with you particularly if you try to contact them? I mean, they just bombard
They're throwing shade whether you talk to shades, man.
I see.
Yeah. And so, they bombard you with questions. The question is, how much are you willing to reveal? You're going to reveal everything that you know? Or are you going to leave it just like that, right? And try to get some answers or something out of them?
Well, to put it in game terms, if Spencer knows a D8 of knowledge, he's giving a D6 to these people. He's giving them just enough to let them start on their own investigations if they want to, but he's not giving away everything he's come across. And, he's not going to show them the book. He's mentioned it. He'll let that remain a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But, a good magician, sleight of hand or otherwise, never reveals all their secrets.
Yeah. And one of them is a female. She's a female fox, and she says Marjorie. And her name is Marjorie. She has a bit of an accent. This is fascinating, very fascinating. We could study this more. Perhaps this could be the breakthrough we were looking for. There's always been stories that these lands were magical, the land itself. But if these ley lines that you describe are everywhere, then this could upset the balance of power here. Whoever could tap these ley lines could do, who knows?
The thing is, Synecdoche works both ways. And if the land is magical and it is affecting things, we could perhaps affect the magic. I'm in a very privileged place in that I've studied 2 schools, and both of them would be helpful to this study. Following ley lines is certainly the work of a thaumaturge, and learning the true history of a place that has a strong emotional attachment is the purview of the cognoscenti. I will be continuing my investigations into this matter, and if you like, I can report back to whomever is also interested. And perhaps we can have a meeting of the minds and get to the bottom of what's going on here, and perhaps make use of it for the greater good of the country, of the Isles.
Indeed. You see one of them, Oriel, she gets up and she basically takes a series of small containers and goes around the table, and everyone gives you basically a sample of their hair for you to be able to communicate with them. So this is very important. She's an older fox as well. She's like, this is very important, young man. if we things are in influx. We of the independent schools have been pressured from both sides. The church has been
meddlesome. Yes.
And the powers that be tend to favor the college grads, as it were.
They can control them much easier than they can control such as us.
If we could unlock these secrets, then perhaps we would be in a much stronger position to negotiate and to establish our position and maintain our independence, which we all agree here, and you see people nodding, is the heart of this. We can explore things and see things and do things that others cannot or not dare to, within reason, of course. So if you have any information you want to share, we will also help you best way we can, of course. And she basically puts the little bottles in front of you. By giving you this, we are trusting you.
I understand. I would not give a part of myself to just anybody. No. I understand the trust you have in me, and I am flattered, and I will make every effort to keep these safe and out of prying eyes, and to make the best use of them I can in helping us find what is going on and perhaps make the best of it.
Indeed. And they start breaking up, and the bat, the one was like, I guess I made the right choice. I'm sorry to say that I did not come to you out of happenstance. I knew one of your compatriots, although they are apparently no longer part of your master's retinue. They are working on something else for us.
I see.
But in lieu of their expertise, I decided to contact you, and it seems to have paid off.
Well, I'm glad I did not disappoint.
Now, our own, divinations, to call it wet names, our own predictions, our own reading of history more than magic itself, shows that we are at a very dangerous time, both physically and perhaps also magically. The next weeks, months, could be crucial to the survival of the islands, politically at least. And now that this information has come to light, it could add a wrinkle to it. I do not think that this grand pavilion of ours is going to be as successful as everyone hopes to be. There's too much at stake. Alliances made today can change tomorrow.
Certainly.
Honor is a word that a lot like to utter, but few like to follow. But I've taken enough of your time. Please, if you find anything that you wish to share with us, of course.
But of course.
Do so. I would ask that you keep the information that we shared this evening confidential.
Of course. Not even my closest friends know why I've left, and I'm going to keep it that way as long as possible.
I do not.
Aww.
I do not impugn their motives, just their worldview, perhaps, which can be almost as dangerous as having contrarian. But hopefully, in time, we can resolve that issue as well.
Yes.
But well, I think we have eaten and drank enough, and sadly, we will not have any more dialogues while we're here. But if you wish to talk to any of us, then by all means, feel free to approach.
But of course, I will do my best here.
And with that, again, people sort of drift away. It seems to be that this tent is their tent, and the others go to their own, places as they go in. And there's plenty of guards and stuff like that, so it's not like you're going into the dark, right? Next morning, and and this I'm gonna slide in the X card here in case people want to race it. Next morning, we see one young, not so young Gregory waking up, not so alone.
Ah, what a wonderful morning.
And it's not Harmon there. Harmon is nearby, but not there. You're close enough.
Harmon, always a guardsman, never a bride.
And beside you is the lovely Victoria, wearing, her natural fur.
Of course.
And nothing else.
I imagine there's probably a good several minutes of just slowly waking up, of doing things gently in bed and slowly rousing the other. Or letting them sleep, I suppose.
And you let her sleep.
Yeah. But I'll go ahead, I'll get up, I'll start stretching, doing whatever Gregory's morning routine might honestly be. Make a little fire, rub it in the hands, heat up some coffee.
Ooh, coffee.
I thought your routine was seeing how quietly you could pick up your armor without waking her up.
Let me just jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle. She is part cat. That might actually just attract her to attack then. Dangerous game.
Yeah.
But yes, my intent is while I'm waking up, I will try to make sure she gets as much privacy as possible for when she dresses and for when she will eventually leave the tent. Don't need too many people talking about it, of course.
Yeah, I mean, everyone.
But at the same time, it's fun and it's open secrets.
Yeah. It takes a while for her to get up and dress and whatever, and
yeah, by the time she's up, I'm just like bringing her like some of our breakfast rations or whatever we have here, whatever we've brought the servants to bring.
And so you're all there having breakfast. Vesper's there, Spencer's there, Harmon clearly's there, and you're discussing the events. They're going to day 3 of the jousting, and that's going to be the big event. So she says that she's gonna invite all of you to join her in the stands nearby, which is again, she's a handmaiden, a lady of the chamber to one of the queens. So yeah, that's a big deal. Just being by proximity, it's going to be impressive. So
of
one
course.
of the things, so the day. Anybody's going to do anything before the final day of jousting is done?
Yes, I have to speak to Lord Gregory. I understand you're having relations with a partner that you're not married with.
Well, preparations are underway.
Seriously? Is this your betrothed?
Oh, well, of course, I wouldn't. I know I can trust your confidentiality to it, but such is the way things are going, and I can only hope they proceed to such end.
For permission to be candid, my lord?
As always.
Do you really think you should trust your heart to someone who is that promiscuous with their affections?
Well, to be fair, I may have had a bit of hand in it myself, quite honestly. But I enjoy your company more than any other. And I would hope
what?
To seal the deal.
What of I?
Harmon,
You
you're
knew it,
you're like a
bud.
brother to me.
Any
You're
other.
like a brother that I can order to die for me.
Kill and die.
Well,
There are some things I can do with Harmon that I cannot do with her, and there are some things I can do with her that I cannot do with Harmon.
You haven't even tried.
Oh,
Harmon
dear.
changes Facebook status to complicated. Hmm.
I will go to bed in the arms of one, but I will die in the arms of the other.
It's not a fair trade-off.
Well, sir, if you ever feel a need to speak with me further on this matter, I will avail myself to you. But I suppose I cannot convince you that your course of action is ill-advised.
Do you think maybe there's something wrong? Speak your mind.
I thought I did. I thought I made it clear that.
Well,
this
I mean,
sort
other
of
than what we're doing now, but I mean, if things proceed as they do, I would hope maybe even you would help officiate such ceremony.
I'm flattered, but I think I'm going to go take care of other activities today. I've made my opinions of this behavior quite well known. I ask your leave, sir.
Of course. I won't bother you too much with tent activities.
Lester, I need to give you an hour-long lecture upon the folly of promiscuity.
Yes. Do best.
I don't know why I'm lecturing this guy like he knows anything I'm talking about.
Hey, you got to take it out on somebody. Spencer, everything's going well for you today in all these festivities?
Oh yes, I've been finding this to be a very interesting gathering of people.
You went to often talk to some of your friends. Perhaps things far above my own head. I usually end up drunk before I end up listening to such things, but I hope it was enlightening for you.
We spoke of magical matters. If you're interested, I could, give you some of what we spoke of.
Well, of course I'm interested. I just don't know how much I'll comprehend. But try me if you wish.
You are a studied man, are you not? Do not sell yourself short.
Oh, well, if I must sell my short on exactly one thing, perhaps this. I can candidly admit my failures here. And at the very least to you. But please, tell me, what have you learned? What wonderful things that they talk about?
He'll, explain, the magical theory that was going on in like the small talk part of the meeting, and then he'll say they seem very confused about the druids. They want to learn more of them, and the questions that were asked simply gave rise to more questions. And I made a promise to look into it and see what I can learn about these people, and perhaps be able to express it in a way that, people from our culture can understand how they are.
I see. Perhaps you'd like to talk with one directly, maybe.
That would be a very interesting conversation, I believe.
That would give us a twofold reason to talk with this Balgruff character. I know you know the first reason, but the pretense for the second would probably be entertaining in and of itself. I'm just not sure how to proceed on the first one. It's such a confusing matter.
Out of character, what is that first matter again? Just keep me refreshed.
The naughty hanky-panky.
Well, I don't know if Spencer knows about that or not, given that he had been away.
Oh, no, you were with us when we went to interrogate everyone. You've read minds about this stuff. You're involved in the investigation. You know this stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have such a shit memory, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best.
It's okay.
Don't worry about it anymore.
I understand the feeling entirely.
Yeah.
But yes.
That's why I've got the notes section up, and I'm keeping notes. I would never remember the bat's name that first came to me if I hadn't put it down. So yeah.
So
in fact,
yes,
I'm going to save it now.
we could perhaps arrange some sort of talk. But in both cases, I guess I would have to let you lead both matters of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can trust you with that, of course. But I can definitely think I can arrange the meeting somehow, if you are interested in some time or place.
I'll leave it up to your discretion, my lord.
All right. I'll see perhaps what I can arrange after all the jousting. It'll be a fun evening right now, for sure. We'll have plenty of time. They live in the country here. They won't go far anyway. Well, plenty of time. And that just leaves you and me, Harmon.
Who is very quiet right now.
Yeah, it's good talk.
Truly, no one I like more than the one who lets me hear the sound of my own voice continuously. Now let me talk your ear off about this and that. So yeah, it seems like we have our plan for the time being then.
So most of you are gonna go to the joust. Vesper, you're basically giving the speeches this kid about why you shouldn't bet loose women. And are you going to join the rest of the group later, or are you planning to do something else?
Oh, he might actually just be AFK.
Oh.
Well, we'll return to that. But I'm going to try arranging to say I'd like to meet Balgroff at sometime, perhaps after jousting, maybe that night or the next morning or something, for pleasant chatter. And maybe mystical matters.
Who will you how will you go about that? Because you know that Balgrove, as far as you know, he is one of the counselors to the Baron.
Right. So maybe as noble, I will approach the Baron himself and I'll talk to him and engage in some conversation and then go, well, my associate and advisor is interested in talking to your associate and advisor about matters over my own head. Perhaps Balgriff will be interested in a meeting of the minds if you could perhaps send the message and.
Okay, let me set it up then.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You're walking into the stands, and that's a massive stance, and the difference between really the sitting arrangements of the nobles, aside from position, you can see farther, right? Is that the nobles get pillows, and the commoners don't.
Right.
So there's a wooden seats. After a while, they're going to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So everybody gets a little pillow. And as you're, let me see if that is only sound now. You're walking, you see the Baron and his retinue, and he's sitting down, and he has a young daughter who's again back his nose into a book, and he's sort of like looking at her, and sort of lean in, and one of the guards trying to intercept you, and the thing where Harmon intercepts the guard, and there's a moment.
Yeah, both of them jockey with each other for a bit until both of us dismiss them.
And then Baron basically sort of goes like, whatever, and he gets up, right, bows to you, bows to Harmon, right, in respect, and you sort of do the thing where it's like, okay, we're passing, but as he's sitting down, you sort of try to do the lean in and whisper. What are you gonna say? You have a moment because people are filing into their seats, right?
Okay. And I'll say, Baron Montague, it's such a delight to see you again. I hope your wounds are doing well from the previous days.
Been 2 days from that was 2 days ago. So yeah, he's still a little sore, but recovering.
You're a strong man to survive such a wallop, that is for certain.
He chuckles. Other people around him are like they're angry that you mentioned. I was like, you're telling me he's a punk, but he's like,
Yeah, but of course I'm mentioning it in good etiquette and trying to puff him up in response to it.
Yeah, he's he's not bothered by it.
Yeah.
And go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and say, I was hoping perhaps I could speak to you of a matter. My close advisor is interested in speaking to one of yours, a Balgruff, I believe.
Okay,
They
now,
are both learned men, and my man Spencer appears to have quite a lot on his own mind.
okay, so for that, you're gonna have to roll will, actually a presence, and nobility, and whatever else you think you can do to convince him. And etiquette, certainly etiquette.
Okay, so I mean, we're already pretty strong off there with the 3d8 plus 2d12. This is my wheelhouse. Welcome to it. I'm not pressing my wealth here. That money doesn't matter. I guess I could pay him off if I really wanted to, but I'll tap that if I fail, I guess.
You get the feeling that might actually
Backfire terribly, yeah. So I'm not keen to do it. Local doesn't apply. Insider doesn't apply, and I'm not pressing my legal authority. I'm trying to meet him as like an equal and peer here. So I'll roll 3d8 plus 2d12 and say, "Oh, you definitely would help arrange such a meeting, right?" 4 successes.
Oh yeah, you need a tree, and you did 4. So yeah, he's like, I guess I can arrange it. If it's a matter of meeting of the minds, I suppose it could work. I don't concern myself with those specifics. I am not knowledgeable on those things. But I'm sure
I know. My head spins when I hear Spencer open his mouth sometimes.
But yes, I guess I can arrange it. Perhaps tomorrow or even after the turning is over. He is a busy man.
My thanks, Baron. I appreciate the time that you've given me.
And you're somewhere behind, like, oi, you take your seat now. Like,
yes, of course. And I'll just wave a little dismissively at them, and I'll go ahead and keep moving.
Yeah, Harmon looks around and says, like, okay, never mind.
No, come on, Harmon. I know you're blocking their view. You're the biggest man here.
Yeah, and so everybody sits down. There's a couple of goes, right? This time around, Victoria's not with you. She's nearby. Like, she's a couple of places, like 2 seats to your left and above. She's part of the retinue of one of the royals. And you have the first go, and people go, people fall, etc. On the third one, you see that atop one of the coursers is a man in all blue and gold armor, and his visor is up, and it's Admiral Haddock. On the other side, on the other hand, is a man in all black. Now, I want everybody who's there to make an observation roll.
Ooh, okay.
And this one is very important.
Got a D4 there, and I'm assuming it's going to be mind observation.
Yes.
I am a lion, and we are in the plains. Can I roll my bonus D8 on that?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like this has to deal with their identity to some degree. I don't have heraldry, but maybe etiquette if they are trying to hide something away.
Yes.
I will roll etiquette. I don't roll great today.
You're too distracted what's going on. There's so many people.
Yeah, my head is completely turned over to Lady Valor. It's like, oh, hello.
Is there danger involved?
Danger to you personally?
I'm a bodyguard. Danger to anybody who's within 1 stride of me, I guess.
And then they throw their lance.
I have danger sense. That's why I'm asking.
Stride would be 1 meter, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so no.
And I've used my personality just to let everybody know.
Yeah, something seems to be amiss. Most of you sort of like, there's something about the situation. In fact, simply because the Black Knight, it's the Blue Knight versus the Black Knight. The Black Knight never, his visor completely covers their face.
Mm-hmm.
And the armor is also nondescript. Sometimes, especially when you have female knights, they not to the extreme of even male knights as well. For example, many armor, for example, they would have like a 6-pack on them or stuff like that because these are nobles, right, showing off.
Yeah.
Or they may have something in large chest. Not to the extreme of having, say, metal boobs like out here, right? That's not that extreme, but or very very sort of armor in the way of the 300, right, where they're just wearing loincloths or something like that. Not to that extent, but these are very stylized armors, right? Because this is a matter of nobles showing off. But this particular armor is well made, but it has no signifiers other than a biped, right? A medium size.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really weird. So there's somebody here in mail, but they're not flying any colors at all.
Just a black banner.
Right. So that's incredibly strange.
Yes.
And they're up against the admiral.
They're up against the admiral's actually his banner is literally a blue a ship, a silhouette of a black ship on a blue field. So essentially a ship.
Well, when the single battle announces, they're supposed to announce who's actually fighting. So who do they announce this mysterious knight in black as?
The Black Knight.
Okay, well, that's a bunch of storybook nonsense, I say, shaking my raccoon fist in indignation. You can't just be a black knight, you have to be a knight of something.
That's the thing, someone must have heard about it, gone under the table for it, made it go through, and allowed it to happen. So, of course, someone must be giving precedence to it.
But this is a tournament of blood. They don't just let random people off the street in here. At least I would hope not.
Well, perhaps if they lose, we'll find out. That'll be the talk later today, too, so we'll find out soon enough, I think.
And
Kingdom is a farce.
As they come in, they ride the course, and at first they collide. Shields splinter, so they go around, grab new shields. It's in the second go that something happens.
Mm-hmm.
The Admiral lens shatters on the opposite shield, but instead of just simply breaking into pieces as it should, the tip goes up into the visor of the Black Knight, cuts into the visor, and the Black Knight drops into the ground. With a hard thud. People were like, oh, and people tell that ooh moment. And people, the assistance of the Black Knight, and even the Blue Knight, the Admiral takes up his visor and goes down. It's like first he's sort of celebrating, but when he sees that the other one is, just blood everywhere in his face, he gets down and hands over the lance.
Mm-hmm.
And now a splitter lance. He's going to get what he's trying to do, he's going to go and get another lance, right? But he's waiting, and the assistance of they go in, and as they're removing the helmet, even before they reveal it, everyone hears this. It's literally a roar, a lionine roar that says, "My son." Everybody turns over to the king. And that's when you realize that they should have been, one son on one side, one son on the other, and another one in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
This case should have been the oldest in the middle, and one side or the other should have been the middle son and the younger son. The middle son is not there. And someone cries out, usually like a woman's wail. It's like, he's dead. And people are like, there's guards that rush into the field. People surround the admiral. People are rushing in, so people are getting up. The guards are trying to keep people down, especially the commoners, so they don't rush into the field. And the helmet take off, and the splinter just went right into the king's eye, and he's
right.
Dead. And this is the
probably
middle.
Probably sometime in the midst of that. I'm probably looking at Harmon and going, I think it's job time, and we'll start making our way down there just in case.
And as you're making your way down,
different descriptions of job time, by the way. You say job time, my thought is escort you the hell out of here before all havoc breaks loose. You're like, let's walk down there. Job time.
I mean, the guards are not letting anybody in. They're crossing, they have their halberds and they're crossing them in front of people.
Right. I'm only going as far as my duty allows here, which I would assume that as king's men and then a son of the king is dead, maybe I might be called upon or necessary to be here as is my legal authority and duty.
Basically, you get to the bottom of now people are vacating. They're being forcibly pushed out. And so people are complaining, what's going on? And there's cries and there's wailing, women and children crying, right? This is a very traumatic situation. You look up and you see that the king is sort of slumped. And as you look above him, above everybody, the clouds start closing in. So it was one of the things I didn't describe earlier is that throughout the tourney, there was no rain. In fact, there's been rather sunny the last couple of weeks. So the fears of another rainy season, another wet, season for the Isles seem to have disappeared. But now you see this ominous clouds closing in more and more. And people take the king and they usher him out, the High King, and as his son, right? It's like, and basically some guards come to you, and as Harmon sort of, puts himself in the middle to protect Gregory. It's like, my lord, you must go back to your tent now.
I understand the order. I am on retainer if need be.
If you need some escort, I will. I'm here to provide it.
Very well. Harmon shall be enough. Thank you for your offer.
And everybody vacates, and you see Victoria, who sort of kind of gives you a glance in the middle of this. She's so very teary-eyed.
Yeah, I'm giving her like a very worried look. Like,
everybody gets
went down.
Everybody gets ushered into their tents, and everybody's sort of basically forced to be in the tents or nearby. Right? Nobody's allowed to wander the grounds or anything like that. You see a lot of guards. You see guards of the Baron and the High King, the King's Chosen. You don't see guards of the other two, kings, unless they are in their specific tents. They're not allowed. Also, even then, they're not allowed to. And from time to time, actually, you literally hear roars from the eldest son, saying, basically you hear the roaring. It's like hearing conversations through the thick door, right? The roaring, all that, but you don't. And again, the clouds just get darker and darker. It almost becomes like almost an evening, and the rain starts pouring down. Starts to trickle, and just massive amount of rains. And the open area, especially where people had traveled, turned into mud. Vesper, you were there on the stands, right?
Yeah, because we already did everything yesterday. So yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's in the tent. What are you guys gonna do?
Oh, well, this is about as terrible as things could have possibly gotten, but at least it wasn't an assassination.
Are you sure about that? Did you see the way the lance shattered as if it was purposefully weakened? They usually just snap.
I'm no expert on lances or weaponry. Harmon, despite his use of them, I don't believe is one either, are you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Well, what we need is a craftsman to look at it.
But the expression on the Admiral's faces, I don't think that was ungenuine, was it?
Hard to tell on the distance.
It is true.
I would have to probe deeper to know, but I could not with his retinue around him.
I could still not imagine him throwing himself away in such a manner of having built himself up upon such a career, upon so many things, to throw it away now. No, I don't buy that story at all. If anything, if it were such a case, I can only imagine someone gave him that lance without his knowing. Were it to be anything untoward.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw it happen.
We
Although
did.
this is still ridiculous that someone would enter. I thought the Black Knight was the one who actually got injured in the match. Is that the one they're saying is his son?
Yes.
Yes.
The middle son of the current High King, who is ailing about to die, is dead.
Well, he shouldn't have entered the tournament without any colors, if that indeed was him.
But being kings, they arranged it to be so, as I expected it would probably have been. He did it undoubtedly to avoid having his name give him any special treatment. He wanted his victory to be his own, is my assumption.
Well, such is the folly of you worldly blue bloods, that you would toss your lives away on petty acts of envy and pride.
I imagine that Harmon is standing somewhere near the opening to the tent. I just want to throw out a quick... Presper, do you think that this rain is natural?
That whose brain is natural?
Not even, unless you're old and ears. I said, you think this
rain, Presper?
Oh, the rain. Sorry, I thought you said my brain. These... Obviously my ears aren't. What, that the rain is falling here? Oh, no, this is definitely a cursed omen day. Possibly the activity of the pagans on which we had met earlier. Are you asking if we should go round up the pagans for their pagan crimes?
No.
Oh, okay. Because we can go ask the bishop and start doing that.
The timing of the rain and the whole events leading up to it makes me worry that these things are connected.
I would be inclined to agree that they are. This is this land itself has a connection with the people that I think there is a curse that hangs over it. The power from without is heavy here.
Well, might I suggest, as being 3 supernatural individuals, that perhaps we could put our teamwork together to see if we can identify a clear and immediate and maybe even local source of that.
Okay, it's the druids. That was easy. I refuse to roll.
I will assume that Arc there, that Spencer has a higher supernatural than me. So in this matter, I will roll to assist you to give you a d12.
I have a d6 from career and then my mind.
I can't wait till we pull the mask off of somebody and it's that crooked faced druid from earlier.
It is you get a d12.
Oh, it was Old Man Smithers the whole time. Thank God he's a dog himself.
Hey, d12 came in handy.
Yes, it did. I don't have a favorite use, and I can't have a favorite use for supernatural, so I'll just take those 2 successes.
The only thing that comes to mind, because this is just, the timing and everything, it's the old adage, the land is the king is the land is the king.
Yeah, whenever the king has something bad happening to him, something weird happens to the landscape. I don't like it.
Yeah. Again, up to this point, you would have thought that's just, that's either superstition or
an old wives' tale.
But we know magic is real.
But because you don't really sense magic. I mean, it could be that very subtle magic of the land that you experienced before. That it's so ingrained in it that it's very difficult to tell from the background radiation, as it were, right?
Yeah.
But you're not, as far as your studies are concerned, you're not in a ley line or anything like that. You haven't seen any nearby symbols, etc. So, yeah. Guards come in and say, Sir Gregory,
yes,
you are requested.
I understand. Retinue or alone? Is my query to him.
And you're taken to a tent near the High King's tent.
Oh, I mean, did he have a response to that? It's like everyone going or just me?
Yeah. Oh, they'll escort whoever comes with you.
Okay, yeah, so retinue, everyone's coming.
Remember, you're all members of the King's Chosen, so...
Yeah, this is work moment, not just talk to Gregory moment.
And you see the Castilian, the King's Castilian, and he's holding a series of interviews, and he pulls you and says, Sir Gregory, I'd like to have your insight into this This is very peculiar. And you're one of the magisters who were here.
Indeed.
We're trying to figure out what the hell happened here.
I saw it with my own eyes. I could hardly believe it myself. But if you're asking about my initial intuition, I do have some ideas.
Right? Build them up.
I'm not certain that this would have been orchestrated by the Admiral himself, is my initial intuition. The Admiral has a long career. He's been working hard at it. I don't think he would have thrown it away at this day in time. Not himself.
Right.
Were anyone to have caused this event, they would have done so in deceiving him about it. That is my initial guess and where I would start an investigation, perhaps with the lance.
Bring in the boys.
Go ahead.
They bring in a couple of young pages, basically. It says, I believe your man here has been... I've been informed that your man here, Spencer, has some abilities. See what he can drag out of these boys. They've been less than forthcoming, and they have black eyes. You know, they've been roughed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They you know, and they're like 11, 12. You know, between the ages of 11 and 14. But the pages, people who their job is to handle the lances and stuff like that. So, but in the maybe an hour or so, they're being already roughed up pretty quickly.
Right. See the violence inherent in the system.
Yeah. And it's raining cats and dogs out of the outside.
By your leave, my lord, I shall do my duty.
Of course. Let's go ahead and begin. I'll open up by seeing if I can get the boys to agree to simply let down their own mental defenses and open up to it. So I will begin talking to them and get the impression of what I have from them. Like, are they just terrified for their lives? Are they trying to hide something? What am I getting here as I'm like just talking with them?
They're terrified.
They're terrified. Okay, so I will attempt to soothe them and say, I am a magister of the king. You can trust me in my discretion. Hold nothing back to me, for I am your friend, and so is my man here. Calm yourself, clear your thoughts, let your mind be as open water, and you shall find yourself cleared and free and innocent in only but a few seconds. Trust in me.
Yeah, this is very much authority. You're using will. You're impressing upon them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So if we're doing presence plus authority, that's 3d8 and a d12. Nobility.
Yeah, because they're used to being bossed around by powerful people. You know.
Yeah, and the party's over. I'm not going to try for etiquette. I'm just going to roll. That is still 3 successes to get them to calm and relax. And ostensibly, maybe even a d12 to help Spencer.
Yeah, they're not. You're not going to even bonus to Spencer, but you are going to. They're not going to resist.
Okay.
So you're still going to have to roll to see how far you get in there, but they're not going to counter it. So.
Right, and I will prompt them first to ask, which of you two was handling the lances, or may have seen anything, so that we know which of the two to focus on.
And 2 of them sort of nods, you know. But basically, they're three boys, and 2 of them, the one in the middle and one to your left, the other one is just sort of sheepishly there, you know.
Okay, so generally, all of them have probably seen about the same thing. So Spencer's picking.
So if it's up until end of scene, yeah.
So they're not going to roll their defense? Okay. I can't think of anything. I've already used my personality. I thought that observation roll was going to be important enough that I would. Mm-hmm. So.
You've got your flashback.
That's true.
Remember back when those your bat friends told you that to look for strange and suspicious things. So basically, you're flashing back to like 30 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah. So he's looking at their faces as he casts a spell to see if any of them look guilty or overly worried. I mean, they've been roughed up. They probably don't know what's going on, so they're going to look worried. But if one of them looks like he is worried for a good reason, if you can even determine that or not. But so what would the bonus for a flashback be? You said a D8 or was it a D12?
D8.
All right. Damn it. Well,
you get surface thoughts from at least one of them. And the thought that just runs out of his mind is, I don't remember. Why I don't remember.
He'll point to the one he's gotten his connection with.
Yeah.
He has a lapse in his memory. I think we should focus on this.
Well, so he's been ensorcelled.
Yes.
Oh dear.
In
deeper
fact,
already.
Would you allow me a mind? Well, I don't have observation and supernatural to see if there's any lingering effects on this boy.
Yeah.
All right.
You're our expert on mind magic. What would do that? He's been soul hacked.
Okay, so let me get that roll typed out. Well, I'll take that 7.
Yeah, you know that he got manipulated, his mind got manipulated, and you know though that it's two things that what happened to him, right? That the non-remembering part is part to cover something else. So
he'll say this.
Probably it was kind of like tag team. Probably more than one cognoscenti was working on this kid, right? Or maybe they used drugs or something else, right? But the problem with drugs is that you have the residuals, so people feel like they're either mostly sleepy or something like that, which could have happened. I mean, now he's hopped up on pain and
on adrenaline,
and endorphins and adrenaline. So if he got beat up, he's scared. So that could override the whatever drugs. But if he seemed sleepier early, and people probably would have said, "Oh, this is just he's being lazy, at least lazy kid," right? So either a combination, 2 people did it, or maybe he, it's very common to, especially for more complex constantly magics, to lower the defenses of people by using some kind of drugs, mind-altering drugs, or put them to sleep or stuff like that, right? Make it much easier for the subject to do that, and that could actually account for not remembering. So necessarily that the non-remembering part can be about magic itself. Magic certainly was used here to detect it.
Yes, these boys are the victim of magic. I would like another chance to try to read his mind to see if I can find the memories that he is lacking. So if you, young man, could make yourself available to me tomorrow at this time, I would certainly like to speak to you again. I will not hurt you. I understand that what has happened is not your fault.
Yeah.
The guard just grabs him, right? And so you're gonna say the guard is because they're prisoners, right? They were taken prisoner in the moment, when they flooded the people and to start asking. That's why they're so roughed up because they
Please, Goodman, these boys are innocent of what's happened. They've been ensorcelled. Their will has been taken away. Do not treat them so roughly. They have nothing to do with what has gone on.
They know not what they do. Their craven souls have been. Someone has committed the harm most foul against them by hammering their souls with very magic. The vilest form of sorcery that anyone could possibly commit. The sort of magic that only the worst people in the world would even deign to learn, much less use against their fellow people.
Really?
I was going to say you guys going to tag team the Castilian because he's the one you have to convince. But if that's Vesper's term, take on it.
Oh well, no. I mean, Spencer's on our side,
except for him. So okay, you guys may have to make a roll,
cool.
a persuasion roll to persuade the Castilian to treat them to order them to be treated.
Negotiation,
yes.
All right. Do you want me to give you an assist, or would you assist me?
I'm assisting whoever is making the case, which sounded like Vesper, honestly.
Wait, I'm making the case. Holy crap!
Well, then I will assist Vesper.
I only have like a D6 in negotiation, but I also have all the D12 bonuses.
All right, well, go ahead and give me some bonuses, guys.
So yeah, whichever way we want to do, I'll just... Boop.
Well, shit, I should have done the roll.
I'm not super helpful. My
It's not
voice
a
just kind
botch,
of cracks a little bit.
It's not a botch, so thank you for that. Oh, is this will in negotiation?
Yes.
Oh, my bad.
I just guessed.
But Spencer did succeed in assisting, so let me go ahead and roll.
Yeah, I give you a D8.
Yep, I have one success. I'm not a negotiator.
Yeah, the Castilian sort of looks over and says,
The violence magic!
leave them be. Take them to a safe place and keep them there. Right, sir.
You should repent for having weak souls, you terrible, terrible guardsmen. This was a moral failing on your part.
They basically drag the kids, the teenagers away.
Yeah,
Repent!
we will have access to them later if need be.
Yeah. So this is clearly magic. I was afraid of that. Well,
And while they're talking, Spencer puts his hand into his pocket, finds the bats, synecdoche that he gave him, the fur, and he will mention that the kids who were handing the lances had been ensorcelled.
You know, to communicate with people by synecdoche, you have to use a spell for that. That's not the freebie ability.
Oh, yeah, do you have to use a spell? Okay, I thought it was like mind
yeah.
speak, but the synecdoche would just give you unlimited range.
With a spell that uses synecdoche. So there's some spells that attack or specifically say they use it. But the freebie thought sending that you get only works up to medium range.
Oh, I thought you had said it earlier that it didn't. Okay, my bad. I mean,
that's what synecdoche is, but you don't have it. That's kind of like saying ranged attacks are made at range, but you can't stab people with a sword because a sword is not a ranged weapon. If that makes any sense. Sorry, because there's a whole bunch of spells you can buy that actually let you do that, but you're
building the ability to do it in the future, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Doing master sword.
As long as I'm at full health, it's a ranged weapon.
Yeah, and the Castilian is about to talk, and then guards come in. It's like, sir, the king, and he rushes out. Guards rush it out.
I rush out.
Okay. You go into the tent, and there is the older sibling, right? And you see the king sort of clutching his chest. It's like, it's not supposed to happen like this. It's not supposed to happen. He's like, father. And he leans back, and I can't because my shirt sucks. So. And he just drops his head. And the moment he drops his head, it was raining before, but now thunder and lightning just sort of crack open the sky, and it's just a torrent of rain. And they leave it there. As the camera sort of pulls back, and the sound of thunder and lightning just fills, and it goes darker and darker and just fills the ears of the audience, you know. And that's the end of another chapter of The King's Chosen.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely need to get rid of the blue-blooded aristocracy and replace it with, church rule.
That we already got rid of 2 in one session.
I know. I mean, we're almost there. We could have utopia, people. Utopia.
Is it too late for you to declare me Pope? If you just start your own branch of church and then declare me in charge...
I don't think my head will fit into a floating ball.
I can declare you anti-pope. That's like a pope.
Wow!
To be fair, the people love the anti-pope more, up until the end of times.
Depends.
I'll go to Calabria and start my own religion.
So that which was about to happen has happened.
When you said chapter, you mean mechanical chapter, right?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah.
Because that means one extra experience.
Things are about to get very interesting indeed.
There might just be like a literal assassination attempt in the next 12 seconds, honestly.
Oh, why? He's just dead. He just died.
Yeah, but there's 2 kings left, and if one kills the other first, they win.
Or he'll just go to a
Is
civil
that how
war.
that works?
Who's gonna oppose afterwards?
Nobody. The person who survives is the legal authority.
Exactly. That's my point.
Right.
But yeah, do you want to do mottos real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do mottos. Hey, I'm Gregory Verkin. I'm fit to be the king.
Okay. Yeah, you were pretty kingly. On and off the bat, I suppose. So
I'm Vesper, and I keep my faith alight, but keep my powder dry. So yeah, I have been all fire and brimstone this episode.
Seda, I think we know the answer to that already. Yep. So you got that point.
I said it in character.
Yeah.
Even. And of course, Spencer. I think certainly he was dealing in secrets back and forth.
Yes.
So there's that. What else? We accomplished a goal. Well, yes, you did. Grand Tourney has been finished. So there's that. About the Admiral, well, things have changed now. So technically, you could still try to condemn or save the Admiral. But it's now more about choosing whose story you want to peddle, or you want to get into that at all. Because it depends. Right now, you have just enough information to condemn him publicly or to try to save him instead of setup. But doing so at this very moment, or nearly to this moment, would have tremendous political implications of what's about to happen.
Of course.
So that's not something that has been resolved, but it could be easily resolved, or it could take more longer than that, depending on whether you just use what you have right now, or you decide to continue this investigation on your own.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk with the Admiral upcoming, I think.
Yes. And essentially, it will, let me put it bluntly, your decision will decide which faction you're backing. So people in the audience don't understand this, because the Admiral basically has been sponsored by the younger king, but the older king was supposed to be the heir, and the middle one has been now eliminated, who was the one keeping everything in balance. And the information you got last week would be enough to condemn one of the biggest followers of that younger king, who's also the leader of basically the Royal Navy. Here,
yeah,
it's a game changer, or could be a game changer.
We could drop the biggest political bomb we wanted if we just don't care about the truth.
Yes. But what is the truth?
Exactly. Oh, we don't know. But we do have every bit of leverage on the Admiral now, that's for sure. We won the Grand Melee, though.
Yeah, that's a point for that as well. And I think we haven't achieved any other goals yet.
Not a point. You don't get a point for winning the Grand Melee. You win a gift, because that was a goal.
You get a gift. So that one will be... There was a money, but there will be another gift as well, which I will
figure
it out now during the week. I should have figured out that before, but you never know how these things are going to turn out.
Trust me, I know the feeling.
So, and finally, we have the debriefing, and I think this one is going to be pretty interesting, because I really want to hear what you guys have to say about how this all unfolded. I know
I'll go ahead and
butt heavy, but I thought that move things along.
I guess I'll go ahead and go first. The first 3/4 of this was a complete change of pace. It was us just being in character, having fun, and doing social things, and being. And that's a different sort of gameplay. I enjoyed what we did. I felt that we all had a bit of a chance to shine, to get into character, and get into what motivates us and how we feel about a bunch of things. I think it was a good bit of storytelling for us all, and I greatly enjoyed that part. And then we shifted gears straight back, and it's like, oh gosh, I have whiplash. Straight into the biggest possible political controversy we could have had here, short of it having been the younger king on the other horse.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. We have a lot to work with, and what happens next, is kind of in our hands. So that's going to be great. So I'll go ahead and leave it there for now. I'll let someone else pick up.
Well, I find it interesting that the fate of whomever it might have been that tampered with those lances is in Spencer's hands, because he could find it's one of those mages he was talking to earlier and then just completely lie about it, or he could, throw the man down the river if he wanted to. So we'll have to see what happens. And that does remind me, if you're open to taking suggestions for the gift that you are going to be awarding, I have been looking forward to getting Insider with the Cognoscenti, and that little meeting we had might be the stepping point to that, if you wish.
Yes.
I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I'm always open to suggestions, yes.
Okay. But I was actually going to bring that up after the session anyway, but now that we've had that meeting and it seems Spencer is putting tendrils out into the wider world, if we had a mechanical way to express it, we might as well. Kind of like how we got the legal authority gift as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there I go being redundant with my as wells. So I guess I'm done.
Don't worry. Anyone else?
Rafferty, what's on your mind?
I'm enjoying this. I always enjoy the more political type stuff.
I do like that Vesper keeps trying to shy away from it. It's like, oh, I could get closer to Bishop and get ordained. It's like, nah, common folk.
I think he's just being extra modest.
Yeah, of course. But I'm enjoying the show of it.
I'm conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm full of all kinds of... I'm filled with a mix of interesting emotion. So...
And then we have Theta, who was supposed to be the star of the show and took, you did quite a bit, but the enemies proved to be disappointing.
I mean, I guess it's better than you throwing out super knots against me for some reason.
Yeah, no, it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, Armin went into a crowd of people who were just hyping up themselves and went, wait, I have actual training.
I mean, I'm D12 body, I'm D12 speed,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the peak of physical ability. I am a better than average soldier, D8. So...
Right. This is the point where you are now semi-legendary. And not only in your statistics, but in what you've actually done, and everyone knows it now. It could not have gone better for you.
Right, I just don't have any aspirations. That's the problem.
Exactly, which is why I get to use you for my aspirations.
I have no political desires. I have no wants or needs beyond my day-to-day.
You just need another big fight.
Yeah.
I'll get you one.
Oh,
I'll pick a fight. I'll get drunk again.
Okay, so I think unless I forgot anything, we covered all of the bases in the session. So we'll start with the shout-outs.
Before Arcloid asks, because Arcloid will always ask, that is 3 experience, Arcloid.
Oh, I knew this time I wasn't going to ask this thing, so...
Well, too glad.
He read his mind, as if by a terrible cognoscenti power.
Yes, the only secrets you have are the secrets you aren't known to keep.
So we'll start with, I think Rafferty has a lot to say this session, especially starting with something that happened yesterday.
A lot to say. So we're recording this on the 21st, and we're gonna have a big announcement on sanguinegames.com and our Twitter, Sanguine Games, and all that kind of stuff on the 23rd. It's a spooky secret. The only thing I can let you in on is something to do with Ironclaw.
Cool. Griffin?
Hey there, I'm Griffin. I run the next game, Urban Jungle, also made by Sanguine Games. Come and join us for 1920s noir action, terrifying cults, and terrible, terrible mistakes as we exchange with criminals and create fake gems. It'll be fantastic.
Arcloid?
So coming up next.
Yes, I'm Arcloid, and I run a play-by-post game on Roleplay Online that is seeking to go through the Ironclaw Book of Adventures.
And of course, Stato.
Yeah, showrunner. Check out the YouTube, because the YouTube has all the uploads weekly, and the Patreon has everything right after it airs, and the Twitch has a link in the doobly-doo down below that says when things are happening with a countdown timer.
And I'm your GM. Lessons learned. Lessons learned 1. The 1 is important, the number 1. I have a book out, Nights and Start, over at Amazon.com. It's only 99 cents. So you want a quick read of short stories that are speculative fiction, a little bit of horror, a little bit of fantasy, and a little bit of science fiction. It's already there. It supports my channel, which is also Lesson 1. Still streaming Dragon Age Inquisition, the Snarquisition, as I like to call it, Monday to Fridays at night. And on Tuesday, I have a podcast, also known as the Lessons Learned Podcast, where we talk about video games and video game news. So I'd like to thank this wonderful set of players out here for putting with me one more week. And thank you, the audience, for joining us. Have a nice guy.